see, all the carbons will fuse, they form a hexagonal ring like structures, and all these rings will fuse to form a layer like structure, a sheet. So all the thin rings, okay, all the rings, hexagonal rings, all the hexagonal rings, okay, will will fuse will fuse with each other, to form a uh, two dimensional two dimensional two dimensional extended layer like structure, okay. See what happened. So every carbon, it is surrounded by 3 carbon atoms, and in turn that carbon is also surrounded by 3 carbon atoms, and every like this. So it forms a fused hexagonal rings, okay. So these fused hexagonal, one ring will fuse with so many other rings. So this is fused with so many other rings like this. So what happens? It is an extended. Again, this will fused by some other rings, and that will be fused by some other rings. So this will be fused by some other rings. So what happens? It is an extended three-dimensional, two-dimensionally extended planar, form a planar to form a planar two-dimensionally extended layer like structure, okay. So like this. See, if you observe, so there are alternate double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond, like this. Double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond. That means alternate double bonds and single bonds are present. So that means double bond means pi bonds. So there is a pi delocalized pi bonds. So graphite contains delocalized pi bond system. Delocalized pi bond system. That means, what is the meaning of delocalized? That means these pi bonds, the electrons of these pi bonds, they can move easily throughout the layer. They float easily. All the pi bonds, they can move easily. They can float. Okay, they move easily. And already we know that pi bond is a weak bond that can be broken easily. Whenever a pi bond is broken, suppose if it is a double bond, one bond will be sigma bond, another bond will be pi bond. So pi bond is a weak bond, it can be broken easily. When the bond is broken, it forms two free electrons, because every bond is nothing but two electrons. So when pi bond is broken, it forms two free electrons. So that means this pi bond can be broken easily. All the pi bonds can be broken easily and forms free electrons. They can float. All the free electrons will float in a layer. Okay. See, here we have to learn one thing. Every carbon, it is having it is undergoing sp2 hybridization. So that means one p p orbital, unhybridized p orbital. Every carbon contain every carbon contain one unhybridized p orbital. Okay, so these unhybridized p orbitals of carbons. So this carbon, the unhybridized p orbital of this carbon and the unhybridized p orbital of this carbon, they overlap to form a pi bond. Okay, every carbon contain one unhybridized p orbital, and those unhybridized p orbitals, okay, will form what? Pi bonds. Will form pi bonds. Okay, and these pi bonds, they are delocalized. They are delocalized pi bonds. So pi bond is nothing but free electrons. We can simply say pi bond will form into free electrons easily. So as pi bonds can form free electrons easily, what happens? Pi bond can produce free electrons. Okay, therefore graphite is good conductor of electricity. Therefore graphite is good conductor of electricity. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, right. Next, hence graphite is used. Hence graphite is used as electrode. Graphite is used as electrodes. Graphite can be used as electrodes. Right. Electrodes means, these are the plates which are connected to electricity during the process of electrolysis, or else during the process of electrolytic conduction. Right. Now, one more thing. See, this form a layer, and another layer is also present. Below this layer, another layer of fused hexagonal rings. Another layer of fused hexagonal rings. Another layer of fused hexagonal rings. So this is one layer. Below this, another layer of fused hexagonal rings. Like this. Okay. Like this. Okay. And below this layer, another layer of fused hexagonal rings you will find. And below that layer, another layer. So like this, graphite is a layered structure. Graphite is a layered structure in which there are so many layers which are present one below the other. Okay, so it forms a layered structure. Graphite is a layered structure. Layered structure. Okay, layers are, see, between one layer and another layer, the distance is layered structure. So between the one layer and another layer, So the distance between one layer and another layer is 3.35 angstroms. 3.35 angstroms. The distance between two layers. So this question is asked in some exams, in competitive exams. So what is the distance between two layers in graphite? 3.35 angstroms. And between the layers, there are forces of attractions. So because of force of attraction, one layer will be attracted by another layer. So and this layer is also attracted by these two layers, and this layer is attracted by two layers. Every layer is attracted by its upper layer and below layer by certain weak force of attraction. That means very weak force of attractions known as London dispersion forces. London dispersion forces. Okay, London dispersion forces are present. Very weak force of attraction known as London dispersion forces are present between the layers. So what are London dispersion forces? London dispersion forces are nothing but van der Waals forces, a special type of van der Waals forces only. So the weakest van der Waals forces are said to be London dispersion forces, because van der Waals forces are of several types. So out of several types of van der Waals forces, London dispersion forces are the weakest van der Waals forces. Okay, so like this, between the layers you will find a London dispersion forces. Hence all the layers are held together. See, these forces can be broken easily. Okay, these forces can be broken easily. These forces can be broken easily. Hence, layers slide. They slide one over the other. Because when the force of attraction between the layers is broken, so they can easily move. One layer will slip over another layer. So like this. So they can slide one over the other. Layers slide one over the other. So because of this nature, so graphite, hence because of this nature, hence graphite is used as lubricant. It is used as lubricant. Graphite is used as a lubricant because lubricant means that means the material which is used to reduce the friction between the substances or between the materials. Okay, so such material is said to be lubricant. For example, we apply grease for shutters. To close the shutters, we use grease, or else for cycle pump. Okay, in cycle pump you'll use a material known as grease, a black colored material, oily material. So what happens? It will reduce the friction between the inner cylinder and the outer cylinder of the cycle pump. So like this, even graphite is also used as a lubricant. Okay, because the layers will slide over the other. Even when we write something, see the graphite Graphite is used in pencil lids. Used in pencil lids. Why graphite is used in pencil lids? Because graphite is a layered structure. So graphite is a layered structure. As it is a layered structure, it is used in pencil lids, in the making of pencil lid. Because of weak van der Waals forces known as London dispersion forces, so the layers can be broken easily. Suppose if you write something with the help of pencil on a paper, so this is the pencil and this is the paper, let us assume. So if you keep on writing something, what happens? So after writing several points or several words, so one layer is used up. So this layer is used up. Okay, this layer is used up, and the next layer will start consuming. And after writing some more lines, what happens? So the next layer is also used up. So what happens? The length of this lid of the pencil will gradually decreases. Okay, like this. So what is happening here while writing something on the paper? What is happening? So all the layers are used up from the pencil lid. All the layers are used up. So this material is nothing but a layer of graphite. Okay, another layer of graphite, like this. See, this layer of graphite, it forms chemical bonds with the paper. So that is why they stick on the paper. If someone writes something on the paper with the help of pencil, what happens? So that material, the graphite will form a thick black material. As it is a thick black material, it can be visible on the white paper easily. Okay, so this this is graphite layer. Okay, it forms chemical bonds with the paper, and these chemical bonds can be broken easily by using eraser. So if you use eraser to rub this line, so it can be broken easily, because this graphite will form loose, very weak chemical bonds with the paper, and which can be broken easily with the help of eraser. Because of weak van der Waals forces called as London dispersion forces, the graphite will behave like this, and it can be used as lubricant. It can be used in pencils because of its a layer structure. Okay, right. And one more point. See, here the layers, they are not parallel. Layers are not parallel. Layers are not parallel. They are not parallel. They are not parallel, and they follow A B type of pattern. A B type of A B type of pattern. See, for example, this is one layer of graphite. Let us assume. Suppose this is one layer of graphite. So below this layer, again you will find another layer of graphite. See, these two are not parallel to each other, hence they are appearing like this. If they are parallel, what happens? You will find only one layer we can see from from the top. If they are parallel, so below one layer there will be another layer if they are parallel. But here the graphite seems to be like this from the top. If you see from the top layer, if you see what happens, so this layer, below this layer, then there will be another layer, and that layer will be like this. So this is not layered, this is not parallel structure. So if it is parallel structure, then it would be like this. So below this layer another layer, and below this layer another layer, it would be like this. So if it is like this, then it is said to be parallel, but it is not parallel. So graphite layers are not parallel. See, look here, look into this picture. If you observe closely into this picture, what happens? So one layer, below that layer another hexagonal rings. Here two layers of hexagonal rings are present. So below those layers, and again there are some more layers. So for example, here the top layer, it is of A, and the second layer will be B type, and the third layer will be again A type, and the fourth layer will be B type, like this. So AB pattern, the arrangement of the rings will be like this. Okay. And one more thing, we need to learn one more point. So in a layer or else in a plane, graphite is good conductor. Graphite is good conductor in a plane. It is good conductor. Good conductor in a plane. But semiconductor between the planes. But semiconductor between the planes. So like this, these are some of the important points related to graphite. Okay, and one more thing, it is used as refractory material because of high melting points. So high melting point, hence used as refractory material. Okay, hence used as refractory material. So like this, we can learn some points related to another electrode of carbon known as graphite. So we will learn some more allotropes of carbon in the next class. Okay.